Okay, enough of that. Welcome to Graphic Policy Television GPTV. It's kind of hard to play around with Mortal Kombat figures and not want to hear the music from the film, the original film. Such a great soundtrack. So, we were doing some unboxing of the Mortal Kombat McFarlane Toys figures. We got Baraka in front of me. So, Mortal Kombat, like, I'm very familiar with the characters. You know, I remember when the game originally came out, all the controversy. As I said in other video, that I was more of a Tekken fan as far as play. Street Fighter was probably my second, with Mortal Kombat third. But interesting enough, I probably know the characters from Mortal Kombat best out of any of them. Maybe Street Fighter is close, at least the original Street Fighter characters. And maybe it's because of the Mortal Kombat films, which are, you know, the first film rocked. Second film, not so much. First film definitely rocked. So we're doing an unboxing. We're checking out. We got Baraka here. Really kind of interesting figure. Looks nice. Like it doesn't come with tons of stuff, but I think the sculpt seemed like it has a nice amount of detail to it. So I'm kind of excited to check this one out. Given the opinions of the 2-year-old in the house, which has been kind of fun, she has called Baraka scary. The Marauder, remember, Marauder figure from Doom, she is Daddy's monster. Baraka, though, is a monster that's scary, though she still wants to play with Baraka. She's a weird kid. As far as bases, we can see that we have a branded Mortal Kombat base. Some figures have branded bases, some do not. So, of course, we want to show those off. So let's check out Baraka. This is kind of a fun extra. Alright, we're going to do a stand test. I always like to do the stand test first. There we go. A little bit of fiddling. We got them going. That's pretty good. I always just like to see if the figures stand on their own or if you really need their bases to get them going. Alright, next we got the Articulation. We got the toes. The toes bending I just think are really cool with McFarlane Toys. Definitely something I'm digging about the figures. Ankle, side to side, no problem. Little bit of we got the curve as well. Up and down a little bit. You know, the shin guards kind of block that. Let's look at the knees. It is a double joint. Some of the McFarlane figures have double joints, some don't, so it's important to show off what. Let's go with the waist, or the hip. We get a little bit movement to the front, a little bit to the back. Side is pretty good. That's the front, so the front's not bad. We got at the waist, or the lower upper chest, middle chest. Pivot to the side, a little bit up and down. It doesn't look like there's much at the waist itself. Not really getting much there. Alright, arms. Imagine arms are going to be pretty standard. You got out, no problem. Up, no problem. It does have a pivot at the upper arm, though you might not want to because of the spikes. I'm hurting myself doing it. We have a double joint at the elbow. And then the wrist, pivot to the side, a little bit, there we go, up and down, just had to get the right angle for that, and then head, up and down, pretty good, side to side, no problem. So pretty standard as far as shoulders. I do notice that the shoulder actually has kind of like a double ball joint, which is interesting. I don't know how well it's going to show off in that, but there's a piece here, and then you get the actual shoulder itself, which gets you some pretty solid movement there. Alright, let's go with details. Figure's actually got a lot of details. This is one that I think you appreciate the more you look at. The only thing that really stands out that I think is maybe a negative is the feet, just because I feel like they should be painted a little bit more. They don't quite match the skin, and they're just a lot darker, which, you know, you can chalk up to dirt or whatever, but it seems a little weird. The shins, the armor on the lower is really good. The kind of the wrap around the knee is great. The pants actually look really solid with the stitching that's here. That stood out to me, and I think is really cool going up the back. Small detail, but it's just a really nice detail. Plus the stitching is raised, and you can see, I don't know how well it comes off, like the pants are kind of bunched up like you might have with pants, but the pants kind of is like bunched up around the stitching like it's pulled together, which is a really subtle detail, but I think a nice detail. And of course you've got this waist design thing, with plastic or rubber. But again, has a nice amount of layers to it, nice design, all that to it, nice layering to it, and I think the design's actually kind of cool. The coloring's nice. There's a little bit of shading to it, some differentiation between the browns. So it's good. And then I think with the chest is where it really stands out, or the upper body. It's got the spikes all throughout it, and then just the detail on the body. It looks like, you know, just either scars and muscles and worn skin. Like, I don't know, you know, it's like a demon character, so I don't know quite how to describe it. But you can just see it throughout the body. It's really, really nice amount of detail to it, and when you look at it closely in person, it's impressive. Like it's a lot of detail. Like, and it looks great. Like it just looks like that worn, beat up skin. That's just, yeah. It's nice. It's really, really nice. The face is pretty solid. Not my favorite. Like, I don't know necessarily what I would necessarily do different, but the teeth are good. I think it's around the lips, the red around the lips, just something seems a little off to me, but I also don't know what I would do differently. Maybe a different red, maybe some shading. I don't know. It just feels weird. Something's just doesn't quite sit right to me. The eyes look good though. And then of course we've got the bone spurs coming out of the arm with the wraps, which is really, really cool looking. And that gets us to its kind of gimmick that it comes with. It comes with the brain, which is cool. And then you can put the brain on the spike, which is, yeah, pretty neat. A little gruesome, but that's what, you know, Mortal Kombat's all about. So overall, like, it's a simple figure that's like, I think simplicity is, it's way more detail than it lets on. It's really impressive. The brain is really nice, and actually the thing that I think kind of sums up what I'm liking about this figure is the brain. If you really look at it, and I don't know how well it'll come off on the video, is the brain has like that kind of like wet, slimy look to it that you would expect. So it's just not like red, but there's just kind of like a shiny wetness to it, like you would expect for a brain, at least like you see in films and stuff like that. You know, subtle, but really nice, like really, really nice. It's a small detail, but it's an important detail that I think makes it stand out, because, you know, you could easily just paint it red and maybe do some shading, like that's it. But the shading here actually makes it stand out and look like a wet brain, which is cool. So yeah, overall, like, I'm actually really impressed with the figure. It's just it's a neat figure. It's got a lot of detail to it and a lot of subtle detail that I think you have to look at the figure to appreciate. So this one I maybe even recommend, even not as a Mortal Kombat fan. It's just a nice figure. If you're into collecting figures, like, the brain's actually a cool thing to get. And then I'm like, if you just appreciate the detail sculpts, like, I think it's worth checking out. And definitely do it in person. Like, do it in person. And if you agree with me about like the skin and stuff like that, like, you pick it up. I think it's a nice addition to a toy collection. So out now, we'll have some links to it, probably some affiliate links underneath this video. There are affiliate links, so we'll get a small percentage of that by doing that. You help support our site, though, so thank you. And speaking of support, I want to thank McFarlane Toys for hooking us up with this. We appreciate that, and thank you for watching. You know, if you are into the latest toys from McFarlane Toys, whomever, you can check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, keep playing with your toys and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.